Christianity is a historically true religion. You can find all these places on earth. These people that the Bible talks about really existed, and they really did the things that the Bible talks about. So stick to the facts. Next slide. Don't lose heart. It says, when he heard about the resurrection, some of them sneered. Don't lose heart. It's not your job to convince them. It's your job to tell them. Do you understand the distinction? It's not your job to convince them that it's true. It's your job to tell them the truth. It's up to God to convince them. Next slide. So don't lose heart, because some people will not believe, but you've done your job. But don't be surprised if somebody does respond. I think for me that was the biggest surprise that I've had when I was in China. I was talking about Christianity, talking about Jesus, and it finally came to the point I didn't know what else to say. I kind of ran out of things to tell. Her name was Martha. I kind of ran out of things to tell her. And so I said, well, Martha, is there any reason that you don't want to be a Christian now? It was like I ran out of things. And she said, no, I want to be a Christian. How do I do it? And I was floored. I was like, oh, okay, all right, okay. It was just like, so don't lose heart, because there will be people that will sneer at you, mock you, reject you. But be ready, because sometimes God will enable them and empower them and help them to respond. Next slide. Know when to hold them. Remember that song? One of my few country songs that I really, really like. Partially because I like to play cards. But know when to hold them. Know when to fold them. What's next? Walk away. Right. Paul left the council. He knew it was time to stop talking. I think that's a mistake a lot of Christians make. You're talking to someone and they're full. They're done. They're finished with the conversation. But you're not, because they haven't accepted Christ yet. So you keep going. And now they're turning red. But you're still not done, because they have, know when to hold them. Know when to fold. Know when to walk away. Better know when to run, right? Paul knew when to call it quits, when to stop. Because he knew his people. He had a relationship with them. He knew that it was time to stop. That didn't mean that he quit. That didn't mean that he stopped praying for them, or stopped hoping for them, or wasn't eager to talk to them more on another occasion. He didn't stop. He held them. He held off for a little while. It was time to pause. He'd pick it up again in a minute. Next slide. And remember, the reason that we're not to lose heart, and the reason that people do respond, is because God produces the harvest. It says a few men became followers. Among them was one of the Areopagus, named Dionysus and Damaris. So God produced the harvest. So when somebody does respond, we can't say, yippee, look what I did. We can say, praise God, look what you've done. Thank you for using me as an instrument of your salvation. You're an amazing God to use a cracked pot like me to bring joy and peace and salvation to someone's life. So God produces a harvest. So don't get discouraged. Don't get arrogant. And whether you're Billy Graham or the smallest Christian who talked to one person about Jesus, God produces the harvest. Next slide. These are all the principles that we got so far. And the last one, just do it. Just do it. Paul did it. Right? Paul told people about Christ. Verse 16 said, Paul was greatly distressed. He was in a paroxysm, is the Greek word. He was overwhelmed with anger and frustration. He was eager to tell people. He was painfully suffering because he wanted to share the gospel of Christ. Just do it. Unless we want to share the gospel with people, there's something wrong with us. If we don't want to help somebody who's going to hell escape that destination, there's something seriously wrong with us. It either means that we don't believe that there is a hell, which is clearly against the Bible, or we don't believe that God can save us from hell, so there's no reason to tell people about Him, or we just don't care about the people. So what? They're going to hell. with us. Paul was greatly distressed when he saw people who didn't understand God's plan for salvation. Christians, brothers and sisters, we need to be greatly distressed. We need to be agitated, antsy about helping other people to hear the good news of Jesus Christ. Because if we don't, something seriously is wrong. So we need to, like Paul and Nike, get out there and just do it. Will you pray with me? Heavenly Father, there are people today in our lives, in our marketplaces, who are perishing, who need the good news of salvation through Jesus. We hope and pray that you will use the lessons that Paul has taught us today on how to reach out to them in a way that honors you. We hope and pray that you will use these lessons to encourage, enable, and motivate us to be out in the marketplace sharing your good news with our friends, our family, our co-workers, whoever is willing to listen. We thank you for the grace that you have given us. Help us to show our gratitude by telling others about what you have done. We thank you and pray all this in Jesus' name.